Finally, a man, reportedly a lawyer and eyewitness, who sat right beside Miss Emmason Comfort during the incident on Ibom Air, has spoken out. And by now, you've probably seen so many clips flying around all over social media showing how she was allegedly humiliated by one of the air hostesses and airport security. The truth is, many Nigerians have condemned the way Ibom Air handled the situation. But this right here is why it is important not to jump into conclusions without hearing both sides of the story. This man claims he witnessed everything and now he has come forward to expose what really happened that day. Please take a listen and judge for yourself.
Move straight, Bukola, to the next one. We're not going on break. We're sitting on this. Now, that is a lawyer. Comfort is resting. We have someone who was on that plane. I think he was sitting on the same row, on the other, on the part of that row. He's a lawyer, he's a legal practitioner and a passenger on that Ibom Air flight from Uyo to Lagos. David Ogebe joins us virtually. Mr. David, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you coming. I'm also excited to the fact that you're a lawyer. So we saw your statements. You released your statement, and I wish I could get to part of that statement, maybe later. But you gave your own account of exactly what played out. If I summarize that statement, you were basically saying this lady was triggered. At no point did she refuse. But I'm not going to speak for you. You were on that flight. So tell us, where were you seated? Your seat number, where was she seated? And what exactly happened that things escalated to the point? Because what you're going to tell us now is what none of us is... none of us is privy to what you're about to tell us now. We've only had a statement from the Ibom Air, and now a lawyer who was not in that plane but briefed by Comfort has spoken. But you are an eyewitness. So, Barrister, tell us what played out.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm appearing this morning, and I'd like to just stick to that. Now, I was sitting to her immediate left. So I was on the aisle seat to the left. She was on the aisle seat to the right. So my seat number was 14B. There was a gentleman to my left who was on 14A. So her own seat number should be either 14C or D. I think the window seat is 14D, while she was 14C on the aisle. So we're right next to each other, and it was a small plane. So I think the distance between us was no more than 2 feet. Yeah, so I heard everything. I saw all that transpired. And yes, she was triggered. Even though the lady, the air hostess, the second air hostess who was speaking to her, was directing all her instructions to her, just me sitting down there, I actually felt humiliated myself, just looking at the way the lady was being spoken to. To be fair, Ibom Air instructed very clearly. The first air hostess that came instructed very clearly, no airplane mode, switch off your phone. After takeoff, then you can put on and put flight mode. So it was very clear. The first air hostess addressed us on the emergency exit road protocols. After she did that, she spoke to Miss Emmanson and said, please switch off your phone. She told her twice, and then this first air hostess left to continue her duties. The second air hostess, who is the one blocking exactly who is being shown now, that second air hostess now came towards us in the emergency exit and stood, even from her posture, see that she came for trouble, and Miss Emmason had been fiddling with her phone. I noticed she was trying to do some stuff, I don't know. And so she told her again, switch off your phone, switch off your phone. And Miss Emmason said clearly to her, I heard it. She said, please, the buttons on my phone for switch off are not working. They are not working, so I don't know how to switch it off. And the woman said, no, switch off your phone. So that back and forth went on. So at a point, that's the second air hostess said, look, you're even using an iPhone. So you don't need a button to switch it off. So the lady said, okay, I don't know how to do it. Can you do it for me? And she said, I'm not touching your phone. I'm not touching your phone. Just switch it off. She said, I don't know what to do. So the lady now said, okay, go to settings. And when you go to settings, go to general. So the girl was holding and said, see, please, I can't understand what you're saying. I can't read. I don't know what you're saying. It's saying where I should go to. The woman, the second air hostess now told her, I don't have time for your nonsense. Please just switch it up. She said, okay. Miss Emmason now asked, can you spell the general? So the air hostess started actually saying G, okay, G, then E. So that was the point that the gentleman on my left and I said, come on, what's going on? Calm, don't speak to her like this. Let's, the second air hostess did not even acknowledge her. She didn't even to my side to even see that someone was speaking. So at that point, I asked the gentleman to arrive. I said, please, can you just help this lady? I don't use an iPhone. I've never used an iPhone, so I'm not too familiar with settings and all of that. So the gentleman to arrive now took the phone and started trying to sort it out. So when that was going on, Miss Emmanson started talking to the second air hostess. I said, why are you embarrassing her like this? Why? Why are you? And then the air hostess told her, you better keep quiet now. If you say another word, I will deal with you. That was when Miss Emmason flared up and started cursing. I cannot say the things that she was actually saying because the language was very flowery and X-rated, I can't say. So that was when this second air hostess said, okay, you see. And then she left and went towards the front of the airplane. She never came back. At least I don't recollect her coming back through the aisle throughout the flight. So that is exactly what transpired. So after that happened, the gentleman to the right switched off the phone or whatever it was he did. And a couple of passengers tried to say, switch off your phone, don't risk our lives, blah, blah, blah. And then we told them, no, that's not what happened. She never said she wasn't going to switch off her phone. She was trying to switch off her phone. She said she had issues switching it off. And so the passengers calmed down and we took off. So that is what happened. But it was clear, at least to us on the emergency exit row, it was clear that there was a problem here. She needed to be handled very well. Because this lady kept simmering throughout the flight. She was cursing. I could hear her because I was right next to her. She was really upset. She felt as if these people are just against me. And why? She said she bought this ticket with her own money. So why should they treat her like this? That's what she was saying, and that's what I'm hearing. And I can't tell you what the other thing she was saying because they were really nasty. But she wasn't directing to anyone, but she was just talking. So it was clear that she was angry. And the second air hostess, the aggressor, kept checking, kept peeping to see how things are going at our end throughout the flight. I noticed it. So the passenger by my side, as we're approaching landing, we're like, God help us, so let's get out of this plane before anything happened. And we're saying it in jest, but we also knew that something was off. We're so worried that I discussed with him. I said, okay, when they were telling us to stow away and put everything ready for landing, the lady didn't even hear any of that. I told her, I said, we're landing, switch off your phone, put it away. Then the second air hostess, the first air hostess, the very polite and amiable and professional one came, helped her to stow away, helped her take her purse, put it in the cabin on top. I was very professional. So all of that happened. And then the plane landed. Once the plane landed, the first air hostess, the professional one, came to the front and started disembarking by room. Just before it came to our turn, Miss Emmanson left and went back. And I presume she went to the toilet. I used the toilet myself, right? And I noticed that the only apartment at the back is the toilet. There isn't even an apartment, cabin crew, and all of that, like regular thing. This one is just the toilet. That's the only. So that's why I presume she went to the toilet. So when it got to our turn to disembark, those of us on our road disembarked and we went out. And totally forgot about the hooks part until the videos and all came. So that's what happened. This is what I heard. This is what I know happened. Issue of airplane mode. That didn't come up, at least I didn't.
So, Mr. Ogebe, first of all, if I heard you correctly, you said Ms. Emmanson said she couldn't read. She was even asking that general be spelled.
Oh, yes. That is what happened. So whether she meant that she couldn't see properly or she couldn't read, as in wasn't literate, I don't know. But that's what she said. And the second L says started spelling. Okay, G, okay, E. That's what happened.
Okay, but because in subsequent interactions, she didn't sound like somebody who wasn't educated. So I just wanted to put that out, for a clarity, if we can get clarity from that. But talk to us about. You're a lawyer. I don't know if aviation law is your specialty, but talk to us about the appropriateness of the handling of the situation. How it could have been done properly without it resulting in the altercation between Miss Emmanson and the Ibom Air staff. How should they have handled it if they were going to read her the implications of what had happened and how it could have been better managed, so to speak? Because other aspects to this conversation are to the effect that even in international flights, once phones are either switched off or put on flight mode during takeoff and landing, phones are often used, with the internet connectivity provided by the airline. So I'd like you to speak to that.
I'd like to point out again that I appeared this morning as a witness, so I wouldn't want to go into argument. However, what I can say very clearly is, even if can use your phone on international flights, you have come into a domestic airline, and if they have said this is our policy, switch off your phone for takeoff, obey. When you go on your international airline and they allow you to use your phone, then very simple. How long will it take? And I noticed that a lot of times this issue crops up basic airline. So let's just be simple. It's not very difficult. Now, as a human being, as a citizen, talking about how she was handled being taken flight, and a little bit of humility and humaneness. The woman felt she was being attacked, she was being singled out, and just an apology and all whatnot, try to calm her down would have helped. I still insist that if this whole issue about switching off the phone had been handled by the first air hostess, this would not have come up at all. Now, moving forward, the actions of Miss Emmanson, her reaction was not commensurate to the issues at hand. Completely not commensurate. Let's be honest and let's be frank. She was extremely violent. So I agree with her lawyer that if they had female officers, the female officers should have come in. When they tried to placate her, when they tried to talk to her, and she still wasn't listening, was becoming violent, then female security officers would have had to come in. But we have to state the fact that her reaction was very poor. And you can't, even if they blocked and said, we're blocking you because we're going to arrest you. Okay, let them come and arrest you. And then the story, not to start fighting. I don't have to be a lawyer to say that. It's just common decency.
Mr. David, before I let you go, first we must appreciate you. Because this is perhaps the first time, maybe on television, because I heard your conversation on radio before I reached out. We're hearing what happened inside the aircraft, because everybody was reacting to, perhaps the Honorable Minister as well, based on the brief he got, was what everyone else saw on video and all of that. But now you brought perspective as not just that you were in the flight, but you were sitting quite at a distance that you clearly saw what was playing out as far as this is concerned. So first of all, we must thank you. But I'm asking, why do you see the need to come out and put up this make this presentation for this girl? And what do you think we can learn from all of this?
Okay, thank you. It took me a lot to actually come out for various other personal reasons going around my life right now. But I felt the need to speak up because there was only one narrative being given out there, that this was a regular, indisciplined Nigeria was refusing to obey simple instructions. That was the narrative, and the whole social media and everywhere was really girl apart. So I felt it was important to bring this narrative so they know that it wasn't a question of indiscipline. Secondly, I thought it was important that Ibom Air hears about how one of their air hostesses acted so that they can learn. That lady needs some training, and I also thought it was important that Ibom Air hears about the very first air hostess who was very professional. They even need to give that girl an award. I think she was excellent. So that lady did so well, but the second lady very badly. And so everyone learns from the situation. So you don't have to escalate the issue. And it's not, this ego, because that's what it was. The second air hostess, the aggressor felt, who is this girl to, talk to me or do whatever? And then she wanted to show that she had power. That is what led to this, So I thought it was important to bring this out.
As you have heard from someone who was actually there, this whole situation might not be as one-sided as it first appeared. In Nigeria, we too often rush to judgment without getting the full picture. And cases like this remind us why hearing every side matters. Whether you are siding with Ibom Air or with Miss Comfort, one thing is clear: how we treat people in public spaces, especially those without influence or power, says a lot about us as a country. And as you can see, my people, it was the Ibom Air hostess that came for Miss Comfort's trouble. Well, thankfully, she has now been freed and released from Kirikiri after police withdrew charges against her. But here's the twist. News flying around now is that AON, Airline Operators of Nigeria, may be planning to use her and Kwam as their ambassadors. Well, that news hasn't fully been confirmed yet. So right now, what we can confirm, however, is the good news. Miss Comfort has just been appointed as the Senior Special Assistant on Media to the Delta State Governor, Omo, things they happen for this country. So, let me know in the comments what you think. Was Miss Comfort truly wronged, or was this just a misunderstanding taken too far? For more real stories like this, no filters, no bias, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell and join the Talk City community. We talk facts here, not just trends. Thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one.